This is going to be a quick tutorial on a way of coloring objects. So if we jump into Photoshop, we've got this rock here. So I'm going to click on a mask tool and just go select subject. Got a mask there. I can hit the quick mask and I'm just going to add in a solid. Okay, so I've got my green there that I can drop underneath and I can kind of see this object. Now on the rock I'm going to make a new layer above it, and I'm going to go to the paintbrush. I'm working in just black and white, so I'm going to put white as the foreground color. The thing to check with the brush is that shape dynamics is switched off. So we just have transfer. You can have smoothing, but as long as the shape dynamics are switched off. And now I can paint him with white. I've got 8% as the opacity and it's a soft brush. So I'm kind of just clicking on and off, make the brush a bit smaller. I'm just kind of doing some of these areas that I think are a bit lighter, kind of doing what would be regarded as some highlights. You can see it there if I switch it on and off. You can see the difference that it's having. Now if I click on this alpha mask, I'm going to hold down the option key and drag it up, just so I don't have to worry about it on the outside of this edge. Now I'm going to make another layer and I'm going to swap it around to black, and I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to pop in some of these shadow areas, but I want it to stick out on the green. Click on the mask, let go, option, click and drag, and it copies that up as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to color these now. So if I click on here and I go to hue and saturation, what I'm looking for is colorize. I'm also going to clip it so it only affects the highlights. I probably want a warm color like that. Now notice when I move the saturation up, it's not really coloring anything. Nothing is really happening. You have to look at the lightness and move it slightly. See, the color is now able to come in on those highlights. If you move it too far, it starts to blacken off. Light does nothing, so it's really just bumping it down a little, and then this color intensity can come in. So I can close that, and I can do the same thing here for the shadows. Hue and saturation. This time the colorize, I'm going to clip it and do it a blue. So I'm adding some coolness into those shadows. See, again, nothing happens. This time though, because it's the shadow area, instead of darkening it, I want to lighten it. Now you can see the blue color coming in. It's a bit intense, so whether I change the lightness or I just dial back the saturation a little. Sometimes it's hard to see what you've done, so it's good to switch all those things off and then to switch them on. So I've got this, get all of them, let go. That's what it was. So it's definitely making a difference. I'm going to come down to the main rock, and I'm going to go to curves. Now, rather than doing the main curve, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the colors. So if I go into red, I go in the middle, I can add a bit of color overall. I'm just going to clip it so it's only affecting the rock and not the green. I can come into the blue. The opposite of blue is yellow. So if I drag down on the blue, it's going to add in a bit of yellow. Back to the red, up a little. Sometimes the green can be dragged down a bit, so let's have a look. So I've got all of these that I'll just switch off for a second. So it's grey. I'm giving it a kind of a sunsetty, warm quality with that. And then all of these bring in some of those highlights and shadows. So this is a way that you can kind of go through and start to work on those individual elements. If it's all becoming a bit much with the layers, I can just click on one, shift, click on all the others, hit the folder, and I have my group.